This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says, number 11. You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. The number on the panel says 10.
Give me a moment. The cold never does any good for my bronchitis. I'm fine. Fine. Don't you worry about me.
You're still worried. It's very worrying.
Now, what do you want from me, policeman?
She's the cleaning lady. She knows the floor plan and the residence.
Oh, you'll find plenty of Martins here. Don't you worry. Pea-brain. Someone played a trick on you. Martinez is a name for anyone who comes from Martinez, like Jim Jamrock or Raoul Ravachol. Yes, I know who you mean. The scrawny boy who's always smoking like the devil, right?
Somewhere in the building, a child starts crying. You hear a radio tuned to a talk show and someone taking a shower.
What's he in trouble for? Talk?
What was so funny about that?
He lives upstairs in room 28. Go to the balcony. It's one of those doors there. He's usually home in the evening. Ask away, policeman. The artiste? Nothing I can do about her, I'm afraid. She ruins the walls faster than I can clean them. Still, she leaves an old lady to her business. More than I can say for others. People come and go. I don't keep an eye on everyone.
They probably just moved or died, hopefully somewhere else.
No one lives there. It's been empty for months. Impossible. I would know if someone had moved in there. Maybe it's those countercultural people again. Breaking into a house like it's a public space. You're a policeman. Be good and take a look, will you? Great. Young people. They're worse than rats. You know, always littering the hallways with trinkets and empty beer cans. Oh, that one is a scientist, a future scholar. I think he studies astrology at the community college. Education is good. I always tell them to study. Something to do with all those stars around his door. He asked me to leave his drawings up on the wall. That's what I said. Astrology. Oh, no.
You hear someone walking around inside. The walking stops abruptly, but no one comes to. You can feel tension on the other side. A poor communard, from the looks of it. The room is barely bigger than a closet. It's generally easier to do things if you have literally any reason. Scare them. Suspected of some big crime. You have plenty of reason to enter. Well, that was easy.
Satisfied? My name is Marielle Charpentier, and I'm an agent with Martinez Realty Associates. I am not breaking in, as I have every right to be here. The keys, see?
Her voice is really cheerful, despite her obviously hating you.
Do you want to see my ID as well? You can't legally ask for it, but why not? Want to see my residence permit too? Very well, but please make it quick. I need to be back in La Delta in an hour. Oh, that's another huge mess. The former tenant owes us 3 months of rent. 3. We closed the apartment and planned on auctioning off the valuables, but... And again, I have no idea how stupid mistakes like this can even happen. But Ron, when he came to close the door, didn't close the neighboring door. And there's a hole in the wall.
So preppy. She's probably on some low-grade performance enhancers, like Peptide or Pericane.
A hole in the wall. Can you believe it? And then the tenant ran off with his stuff. He's gone. The money's gone. Just like that.
The sum must have been puny.
Well, it does not disappear from my hands. No, I don't let it. These apartments are perfectly fine. They have gorgeous architecture, a million-real view of the bay, good ventilation, neighbors. I'll tell you, Martinez has a future. In a few years, it's going to blossom with artists and creatives and those radio computer wizards. Don't ask me what happened with the wall. I have no idea how we're going to find the time or resources to fix it. Both apartments are now unrentable. Both. I need to get it ready for the next lease, but as you can see, the previous tenant completely trashed the place. It was some kind of a moribund old man who used to be a business owner. You'd think they'd make rent.
A sudden serious look crosses her face. This story didn't have a happy end.
But that was months ago. Anyway, was there anything you wanted, or is that it? Of course.
The luxury of fine things. Just look at those black monk straps. After spending an entire day hustling, who's to say that you didn't deserve a pair of ridiculously expensive shoes on your tired feet? Beautiful things give you a rush. It's power, crafting your style, draping your flesh in silk and leather. Remember, when they come to take it away from you, you worked for those shoes. Whether you like it or not, they're either a gateway drug or a booster pack to get you deeper into free market items.
Give me a moment. I see. I hope some good people are finally going to move in. This place needs them. Yes, well, I hope they're good people.
Your statements are too vague to comment on. A shift in temperature. The air chills around you. Dust settles on the stony floor. A former architect stands before a slice of window, a room plan in her hand. A cold wave has made the air in the building stand still and frozen, with temperatures falling down to -20 degrees Celsius. It's clean and empty, with new tapestry embellishing the walls. A standard HB graphite pencil has fallen off a three-legged stool. She had an eye for beauty. Is red from the cold. She's breathing on her fingers, clasping the plan. Traces of sadness are visible in faint pencil lines on paper depict the same place, but a missing eastern wall connects the room with the neighboring apartment. Ideas for arranging the furniture have been jotted down.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? On the contrary, officer. There are yet camioners you have not talked to. And don't look so surprised. In a time like this, it would be strange if Wild Pines didn't have a...
They must have someone in an overlook position, near the gates.
I suggest you go back and canvass for more suspects. You have? And how did you like Mr. Clare?
Finally, time to choose sides.
Of course, Detective. Excuse me for implying otherwise. I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I'm not a corrupt verm myself. However, if you felt like passing, how could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take?
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things. Tell her she'll like you for it.
Oh. That's so helpful of him. So very, very helpful. And how is that going? Do you have any leads on that gun? Well, maybe he's not as helpful as you thought then. Is there anything else? Did you now? What sort of borscht is he making? The strike brew. That's a classic. And by turn up the heat, I presume you mean put more alcohol in it? Why, if I may ask? Why make them more drunk? Aren't they corked enough already? Very curious. A very curious thing to do. What else? Of course, Detective. Should something come up later, until then, is there anything I can help you with? More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything. Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know.
Ruination has come. The broken arches betray the once grand history of this building. It towered over the harbor until a great force from the northeast fired into the city. Heavy artillery shelled the coastline, fired from the water. The tenement acted as a defensive wall against the worst of the shelling until it was destroyed, and they had a direct firing line. The waves of the Martinez Inlet rolled over the fallen remains of the building. But what didn't fall into the ocean was used as scrap. What wasn't used as scrap was thrown into the ocean. Those arches acted as support for something greater than what you see now. Only 3 stories stand where 9 to 12 once did. Restoration has failed. What the shelling took underwater, iron helmets have sunk deep into the sand and the mud. Helmets of soldiers, and their finger bones too, and clavicles, littering the ocean floor. A fleet, the combined armies of Occident and Grad, with Mesk volunteers, a 5-nation army, hundreds of vessels. They massed airships further down in the Bay of Revachol. The artillery was so powerful. The ships not only required gyroscopic stabilization, they were anchored into the ocean. Many are still there to this day. If you squint, you can just barely see the shadow on the water, far in the northeast. Cannons still ready to placate.
The piggies have learned how to saunter up staircases. I didn't think you could do that with hooves. But here you are. Yeah, you got me now. The dynamic between us has completely changed.
That smell coming from her paint bucket, it's not paint. It's heavy fuel oil.
What did you think I was using? Aquarels? This shit is pumped out of government vehicles.
She did it herself. Pumped it out. She's proud of it too.
Something to think about next time you're driving around in your pretty little piggy carriage. I ain't no snitch, Pigstein. Go
Qui és la Cindy, tia?
The pockets of these new jeans are perfect for sticking your hand into. Makes you look cool, calm, and collected as your hand enters the pocket. Hey, it's a chewing gum wrapper. It reminds you of the fruity juice of apricots. You should inspect it closer if you have time. Something about the wrapper's texture is familiar. Not familiar in a good way, you might say. By the way, the raw materials were most likely exported from Seaguy, the apricot suzerainty, and processed in sur-le-clay into the apricot-flavored chewing gum. There it is again, the scent of apricots with a touch of cinnamon. Smells like the end of some distant summer, the surface of another planet, or some ancient temple. Bitter, citrus, sweet. It seems to grow stronger, like a glow. Whatever petrochemical byproducts they used to create this artificial flavor have bonded tightly to the wrapper. Or is that just your memory filling until a blossom of skin and flower petals erupts behind your closed eyes, made of toffee, cream, and distance? You just had to take it. Feels so familiar. Yes, from the height of antiquity, a long time ago, millennia ago, on an island of time you can never return to. The sun sets into the sea, but the water does not boil. Instead, it turns to liquid gold. For a moment, the world's store of precious... There is a movement next to you. The shuffle of a small coat, warm like the evening. But when you turn toward it, there's nothing there. Why are you talking to a gum wrapper? That isn't just a five-pointed star. It's an inverted white pentagram cradled in a wreath of antlers, the iconography of communism. The star and antlers was developed in the 6th decade of the last century and quickly adopted by Emesos and the communards during. Even today, half a century after, The star and antlers retains the ability to evoke hope, disappointment, and fear in equal measure to symbolize the toppling of the old order. Also, some social democrats were already using it. Because white is the color of peace. Gone is the glory of hope. Only the scribblings of impoverished students remain in dirty hallways. You are the big communism builder now. It's you or no one. This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says, no reply. It's a solid lump of metal, but the shackle is deeply corroded. A solid pair of chain cutters would make... Better whip out those cutters. You won't get very far otherwise. This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced. Someone here really values their security. Number 28. This is where the cleaning lady said the smoker on the balcony lives. No one answers. Looks like he isn't home. You should come back later. After 2100. No one answers. Looks like he isn't home. This is the flag of Revachol, the suzerainty. This isn't just one sun, but there are little suns dancing around the big sun. This is the sevenfold sun miracle. It's an optical atmospheric anomaly the first settlers saw. Happens in cold weather. 6 small suns around the big one. This complex halo phenomena is how old Revachol got its flag. The flag doesn't seem to mind. It's just a colorful fabric with a sun sewn onto it. Like all feudal flags, it looks like a children's drawing. A row of mugs sits on the shelf. Each one depicts a human figure. A dark-skinned woman grinning amidst mysterious symbols. A broad-shouldered man shoveling potatoes, and others. A little ring. Though cheerful, the images on the ceramic make you vaguely uncomfortable. There's something disdainful in the way the curves and lines of the bodies were drawn. The images betray a lack of interest in human beings. They are merely unflattering caricatures. The owner of these mugs doesn't like people of other ethnicities very much. This person is unhappy. Yes, your broken mug friend would feel very much at home here. The same humor, the same mocking lines. The owner of this collection could be dumping his trash in the whirling's container. An interesting little clue. Let's see where this goes. Clues have a way of magically connecting to other clues down the road. Perhaps you should break into apartments more often. Who knows? Could be. But this clothes in the trash lead doesn't really seem like it's going anywhere. Still, good thing to keep in mind. You could ask Everard who this person is once you're done here. A row of mugs sits on the shelf. Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
Yes? Hello? Me? No one. I'm just a working class woman.
She doesn't really want to be disturbed that much. If she's such a working class woman, why isn't she working?
Not all the time. Right now I'm browsing books. Even a working class woman needs something to read. It is. I know you are. What with? My husband? No, he's not. I don't know. At home now? Out drinking with his friends? Working? Yes, but... I don't really need to know where my husband... No. Of course he's not. It's not like he's a pocket watch. I wouldn't just lose him.
She has, though. The husband is totally lost. You should tell her that it's okay.
What? Who said anything about shame? Stop talking down to me. My husband is not missing.
But he is. You can feel it. Or maybe it's something else then. Her hands move over the book covers. The tips of her fingers look rough, stained. Another comrade. Years of labor are pressing down on her shoulders. She deserves a hug for all the work she's done for mankind. An array of neurons fire up with joy. Bum her a cigarette, lest it turn to pain.
No, I don't.
You step in and close your arms around this foreign body, wandering astray in touch. There's a small movement beneath your hand.
What is happening?
She seems to be confused. Your hands are wrapped around her polyester coat. The fabric feels cold, moist from... The situation is oddly intimate. Your cheek is pressed against her shoulder. Her hand is trapped between your chest. 5 seconds.
What are you doing, officer?
Less talk, more feeling. Keep your eyes closed. Soak in the closeness.
Fighting for it how? Oh. I guess it's better than nothing. Keep fighting on, my fellow comrade. Is there anything else I can help you with? No, absolutely not. Are you a policeman or a nanny? They are not missing, sir.
You know where they are. They're at home, smoking, giving the ladder of vices a chance.
I see. Thanks.
The woman before...
Hello, sir. How is the investigation going? Found any curses yet? Oh, that's great! I hope exciting adventures lie ahead. And maybe you can help Mother become less afraid. Oh, that's Auntie Billy. She's nice if a bit distressed. No, sir. She's a working woman who comes to look at the books a lot. I think she is a bad husband. Not very nice or helpful.
alive and well. Don't keep me waiting now. What's in there? In that dark sarcophagus? Yes, yes. How was it?
Tell her how ghastly it was. You know it's what she wants to hear.
But what else did you find? Did anything survive? No, of course not. Have you located the entity? A novelty dice maker? Well, spit it out. Why does she need the dice? For some kind of sorcery? Sometimes they use the ankle bones of sheep. I don't understand. If it's not her, then where is the source of the doom? How did she explain the curse?
The narrative she's built herself, it does need tearing down. Just don't say you don't have any answer yet. The uncertainty is to hell with it. Perchance you ought to just lie, sire.
Too many inconsistencies. What kind of talk is that?
Good luck persuading her. Some people can rationalize anything.
Yes, because her business consists of the psychic leech that's been feeding the curse. I see that you've fallen for her manipulation, Detective. The investigation is over. I just hope that you haven't made anything worse by... Thank you for nothing. Please, do buy some books, or be on your way.
Wow. Total psychic collapse between you two right now. There was never any other way this could have gone. She's just too far gone into her own...
Okay, but please, only a few questions. You wouldn't want to disturb the spirits.
The woman before you scans the store.
shine on these...
Stylish shades, huh? They'd be even more stylish if you paid for them with net worth. These are all boring. Boring? Those UV stickers are almost certainly just there for the show. If anything, these lenses probably...
These are all first-rate sunglasses. Premium design, super material, very cool. UV resistant. These will definitely keep your eyes safe and cool while doing your dangerous police work. Oh, very interesting choice, officer. Very high culture.
This is how a sea monster sees the world. You've become a sea monster, Harry. Giant, hidden and... Alright, but these actually make your vision worse. It's like literally being underwater. Yes, but they also make your soul quiver like jello. So deep.
Wow, officer! You look so cool! And they can be yours for a mere 3 real. My regular customers have passed them all up because they've got no taste. But you found them.
Abort. These are hideous. What's more...
Damn, officer! You look like a mega...
They're perfect for concealing your bloodshot and baggy eyes.
Everything's still cool here, officer. You mean these delicious pre-packaged shelf-stable meal kits? Really easy to cook? No hassle? Really?
No hassle. There's a little of a hassle here, it appears. A moral hassle.
It is! Practically free. Yours for 5 cents a piece. Rock that tuna. Why not some macaroni too? No problem here, officer. I get all this from one of my suppliers. An extremely rare...
Wait. Humanex. Humanitarian aid.
What?
A convincing performance. Bravo.
Look, officer. I'm just a retailer. You'd have to talk to my supplier if you got questions about the supply chain. That's how the game works. Only the coolest goods in Revachol. I've got sneakers, speakers, extremely comfy pants too. Try them on right here. No shame, only freedom. I'm an entrepreneur, officer. I've got sources, buyers, suppliers, distributors, manufacturers, wholesalers, all extremely cool and above board. Good joke, officer. Here we don't have permits, just economic freedom. Take a look around.
You glance around the decrepit buildings, the miserable weather, the sidewalks strewn with sunflowers.
It's beautiful. Beautiful freedom. That's right. No permits, no bureaucracy. That's why this city and its law officials are so cool. My man, officer, you make all...
Gossamer is a fine, filmy substance consisting of cobwebs spun by small spiders, seen especially in autumn. It's safe to say he's referring to the near absence of regulations.
Bigbluesoul's the coolest. Doesn't care about where you're from. No need for discounts at ceilings, officer. Everything's already on sale. Anything you want, 50% off.
But did he first mark them up 100%, just so that he could put them on sale?
My man, you know how the game is played. You and me, we should work together. What do you think? Shake things up? Anything for you. Me? It's a boring story, officer. Who cares about the past? I'm all business.
This man probably comes from Seaguy, sometimes known as the Apricot Suzerainty, an archipelago in the Samoran Isola. Apricot Suzerainty calls to mind an era when the Seaguy archipelago was colonized by Revachol. It's a bit of a slur, in other words.
Very cool. I admire your awareness of our intertwined histories. It's super nice of you to apologize for colonialism, but the Apricot Suzerainty is a shithole. That's why I left. That's so cool, officer. Speaking of, why not support an independent local entrepreneur by buying some paint?
Start with a little compliment, then work your way up from there. This is about business, remember.
Oh, okay. But why, officer? An investment? What kind of investment? I hear you, officer. What kind of a sum are we talking about here? Sounds like a fair deal all around.
The speakers below are banged up and worthless. The sneakers triumph. You should go over and ask him about paying for those sneakers with your net worth. A pair of Faun Ultras. The design is impossibly...
Those sneakers, mister. Those sneakers are the latest Faun sneakers. Super Air, super...
Only? That's madness. Faun Ultra. We're the future. You remember the slogan from some magazine? These once respectable speakers have been conquered, reduced to a mere prop by the indomitable Faun. A small heat emboss on the veneer reads, Solidarity Aid from the People's Republic of Samara.
No, don't look at the speakers, officer. Look at the sneakers. The sneakers are the stars here. These, officer? These speakers are Samaran garbage. I'm ashamed to even...
Samaran trash? That sounds like they're from the Samaran People's Republic, produced under the dictatorship of the proletariat.
No way, officer! These aren't for sale. They're bad speakers. Low-fi socialist junk. Well, if you want them... But see, they are the pedestal for my sneakers. If I let go of the speakers, where will the sneakers go? If, on the other hand, you wanted to buy the sneakers too, I could maybe throw in the speakers for a little extra.
Damn, so you have to buy the sneakers first. Wow, a very large red t-shirt with an impressive print stands out from the other garb. Oh yeah, the print depicts a muscled man striding toward you, a giant sword in each hand, encircled by burning embers. Behind him is a cluster of cabins engulfed in flames. Beneath him are the words, Hjelmdal burning. Smells like worn cotton and a little old sweat there. Worn cotton with a side of flea market or trash bin.
Sniffing is okay, but please don't try anything on. Can't have you leaving your photon emissions in the fabric of things.
You're not imagining it. Photon emissions? What is he talking about?
Hell yeah, man. I don't usually carry printed tees, but this one was just pure exemplar. A fan? No, I wouldn't go that far. But I do think the Hjelmdalaman saga is an integral part of our shared reality. Most people don't think that the man from Hjelmdal really existed. But, I mean, even if the man from Hjelmdal didn't exist before the adventure novels, the stories have made it so that he has. It's simple, really. Exactly. Cause and effect work in both directions. Besides, I've been to Kotla, though not quite as far north as the Hjelmdal, and watched northern...
His theory isn't exactly incoherent, but its logic does suggest some very, very unique energy.
2 real.
That's very cheap for a printed t-shirt that's still in pretty good shape.
But why? I sympathize, I do. But this is a for-profit enterprise. Welcome to Hjelmdal, officer.
The boomboxes wait on the shelves, and your boombox, that gold and amber Harmon Wow.
Hello again. How can I help you?
Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward. Lucky bastard. He's probably on Perolidon. It's tough to come by on the street. A drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eyes turn yellow.
I try to keep the shop at a comfortable temperature.
There's a note of indignation in his voice. Interesting.
Perolidon is just something you know, since the People's Power disaster. I was with the Emergency Relief Brigade. Had to take it for radiation.
He's taken it for mental and emotional, not physical pain these days.
We were an all-volunteer force, self-organized. tried to help the fire brigades contain the spill.
On the patch, gamma radiation lines crossed with a red drop of blood.
I lived by the river since I was a small boy. The Esperance didn't have the art to let it... There wasn't much the volunteer force could do, however. We wasted years in the river mud. Years getting sick. A bad idea. Some poor leftist built a particle decay generator in hopes of bringing affordable electricity to underserved communities. It malfunctioned. Radioactive waste everywhere. Probably some of it in you too. There's a reason why everyone's tried to forget any of it ever happened. And why no one has tried. So much disappointment. And early deaths. Cancer mostly. And we knew all that was no one's. Everyone's.
So much bitterness.
A bunch of poor people built themselves a primitive nuclear reactor. The cleanup happened 15 years ago. I was young then. Later, my second aunt died. Left, so I came to Martinez. People told me don't go there. It's a shithole. I said, people, we just had a nuclear pile meltdown. I'm gonna get as far away from Forberg as I can. I like the theory more than the story. Outward movement.
Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man.
Traffic? I'm sorry, officer, but I don't drive. Now that I think about it, I do remember hearing a thunderous noise the other night. Some kind of powerful electric vortex hitting the shop, and then moving on.
He shakes his head, slowly.
Have you tried it before?
It's almost like he's worried for you.
Every day, you look the part. Here you go, man.
Yes, darling. That's the coalition government ordained Parolidon. Straight into your gut.
Of course. Sure thing. Maybe. Shady-looking guys came in here yesterday, looking like they'd just taken off their Wild Pines overalls. They asked if I have a police weapon to sell. They went their way. It was a trip, but you know...
People as oleaginous as Everard seem like they're lying, even when they're really being truthful.
Sure, man. Sure. Let me have a look. Anything else you're thinking of selling? Another time, perhaps.
Still here. Stuck in this damn jam, my man. What's up?
The woman is still hunched over the railing, her head swaying to the music, her eyes looking at nothing.
Huh? What is it? What do you want?
A lorry stuck in the traffic. The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin. The back end of the cabinet, a book with ragged edges, catches your notice.
Tira andaban.
Looking for something odd? Come to tell me to fuck off? Drugs? They're shit, man. I don't let anything pollute my body. You know where that shit comes from? Sarah Miriza, Safre, Ilmara. They take the money from our local junkies here and then use it to outcompete us in the manufacture. They know they can't beat us in a fair fight, so they have to get us to weaken ourselves somehow. It's racial sabotage, racial economic sabotage.
He eyes you wearily, unsure how to respond. This goes on for about 2 seconds.
I don't know shit. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you. What do you think? I can't leave the lorry unguarded. Stuff's been getting looted lately. It's those little kids sneaking on at night. If they touch my stuff, the bosses will be on my ass like ass cancer.
There was a bunch of spilled boxes in the back of a big lorry nearby.
Yeah, I knew that guy. He was an honest driver who loved this country. We were having a good debate about genetics at the Wheeling in Rags, when some Kip boys smashed his lock and took damn near everything. Since he left, I haven't had anyone to talk to.
If they were getting drunk inside the Whirling in Rags, how could they know who broke into the lorry?
What? Aren't we allowed to say there is a Kips who do all the stealing around here? That's not road science, man. Isn't it obvious? Fucking Sealang, that beady-eyed South Samaran. His little side business is a scam. I wouldn't be surprised if he was peddling drugs as well. Of course he's a lorry driver. What? He tell you he's just some simple businessman or some shit? He's selling his employer stuff after he broke the seals on his Humanox lorry. His tribe are natural liars. It's in their blood. He's your man, all right. 100%. Guess so.
Right to work! Right to work! Sure.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you? Yeah, the janitor who gave me the key to his apartment said the guy's a bit of an asshole. Like I said before, I don't know much about this weasel, but the bossman said he's a real piece of work. Thanks for helping out, friend.
The unpromising race pupil return. The file cabinet stands steady as ever. Slide it, the drawer slides. The already familiar cold touch of plastic welcomes you as you pick up the handset. Your fingers run over the dial pad. 005. That's the dialing code for Revachol. 4952. And a moment of his calling. Calling. Still calling.
Video Revachol, 24-hour video rental. You rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lamy. How may I help you?
The voice of a youngster on the other end sounds as enthusiastic as that of a man walking.
Video Revachol is a 24-hour video rental. You rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lamy. No. Sir, I don't know. It's a video rental. Maybe you rent videos here. Maybe you call to extend your rental period? Do you need to extend your rental period? Let me fire up the machine. Dubois. Dubois. Here we are. You haven't rented anything in 5 years, but you still have a copy of Blue Ocean Hell from November 46. Whoa, not a fun film, that one. It's not an easy watch. After the death of his daughter and subsequent divorce, Ziemsk immigrant, no wonder no one's been missing it. Still, it would be great if you could return it to us. We're on the corner of Voyager and Main.
On the corner of Voyager and Main, a large neon sign hangs on the side of a building. Video Revachol, 24 hours. It's raining, and there is almost tiny hills tiptoeing down the road. Beautiful steps, light-footed, with a lifetime ahead of them. Suddenly, you feel like you don't want to hear about video rentals anymore. You don't want to hear about any of it. It was all shit. It's over. It. those empty wine bottles and cigarette butts on the ground. Someone partied really, really hard here. Well, they went through 6 bottles of potent Pilsner, 3 bottles of Commodore Red, and oh, look at it. Of course it was you. You partied here. Move away from this scene, and you don't have to think about it anymore. Just walk. Before the cargo container. Its drawer has not... The container door appears unmoved by your attempt at... A tough nut to crack for sure, but the strongest containers often have the softest hearts. The door does not respond to your advances. Is it possible that it seems somehow? Why does this situation feel so familiar? Do you have a history of propositioning inanimate objects?
Mister, I knew you'd be back to talk with old Leo here. Yes, I did. It's like Lady Larice said when she opened a back. Sure, mister, absolutely. I'm always willing to help out nice fellows such as...
Mr. Dubois, every worker... That's right, Mr. Dubois. I see the socialist democratic fervor now burns in your heart, too. How can I help you today? I'm very glad to hear that, Harry. One question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see what's inside the apartment, did you?
He's trying to figure out if you're lying. There is no way to sway this man in any direction. He is unsuggestible and unswayable. Just tell the truth.
Just as I thought. Culturally antiquated bug collection. What a weasel. Pissing on Everart's Rainbow Coalition.
He was testing you, and you succeeded.
Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good. Racist mugs in the trash and in the apartment? You guys are just light years ahead of me. I have so much confidence in the ability of your organization. I'm relieved you're doing this and leaving me to do what I do best. Helping people. With the power of politics. Oh, no. I don't cross paths like that. All I want is for you to succeed in your investigation. I would never complicate things for you.
Oddly, it seems to be true.
Believe me, Harry, he's a nobody. Just your basement variety nobody. Can't imagine him being connected to a high-caliber case like this. But he does live nearby. Maybe it's a pedantic weasel. Fascists are neat freaks. If you don't mind me saying so, I feel like a real detective right now, Harry. Am I getting this right?
That's not how you baton someone. The technique is way off. You strike with your whole body, not just the baton.
Oh, Harry, thanks for the tip. I'll leave doing the real damage to you. You are the real police officer, after all, not me. By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flat-capped. Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in a security contractor. Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun. I'm talking beasts. Hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramaritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant. No, Harry, the elephant is metaphorical, and so is the village, but the mercs and their brutality are... Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container. Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what they used to be. They lift my office with that big crane. It's actually very fun. You should try it. But enough about me and my fun container. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them, all hardened commando types. One of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out. And Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers. We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill. Potentially, Harry, potentially. We got arm wrestling champions, rowing club people, ex-coal miners, tough guys, all ready to spring into action for their home base. There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the neighborhood. Making sure everything runs smooth.
That sounds a bit like organized.
They're like you. Idealistic people who want to make sure that bad things don't happen. And if they already have...
Again, that sounds like organized crime.
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill this beast that was burdening the land." He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation. Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in. Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them.
If he's just boasting, then it sure doesn't feel like that to you. He's not. He places a lot of faith in that lawyer girl. Perhaps this is a tactical error? Anyway.
How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. That's their MO. It's what they do. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates. You said it, Harry. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes. Of course, you're always one step ahead of me, Harry. I'm no genius. I'm in this position because people like me. Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal. Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary union members. Always working to advance their position in the local... Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative. Harry, they're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the best interests of Revachol in mind. Work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer, women, and some order on the streets.
He's betting on them being useless to you.
But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it right after we've concluded this talk. Also, Harry, here's 5 real. I'm not giving you anything. I'm just holding out 5 real. Oh, I wasn't offering it to you, just holding it out there. But I'm willing to share information. Was there anything else? Was it a good talk? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I even wanted to tell you what I really want to achieve with the strike. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. But it's like I can't completely trust you. Yet. Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left. I want to, but I just can't.
A man of the left. So you have to be a social democrat. He's been hurt too much in the past by men who aren't social democrats.
You're saying it, but I don't believe you. You know how it is, company snitches, agent provocateurs everywhere. Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta. I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth center in Martinez. It will be righteous. We're gonna get those teenagers off drugs.
Roller skating, not drugs, Harry. You like...
There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground, Harry. I'm glad you...
Roller skating.
There's a nameless little street on the coast. On the coast, Harry, across the canal. There's a cul-de-sac there, a little village they're calling it. A gloomy place.
Water drips from the eaves. A woman looks at her freshly tarred skiff. There's a pair of cavalry boots under the fish in the box, and the wind howls like...
They are just gonna have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings. Right next to a fancy new youth centre.
Is he absolutely sure the tenants won't be thrown out in the street?
Am I? Harry, these people, Martinez is the most important thing in my life. I would never let anything bad happen to them. We're gonna build a youth centre there. The value of their properties goes up, and kids have a place to play in. I'm looking out for these people, not pulling the rug from under them, Harry.
He means it.
You bring joy to my heart, Harry. Such a pleasure to be working with you. Here. You need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. I hear there is some trouble with the waterlock, but they should fix it by Wednesday morning. Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then, I'll know you're a solid socialist. See you soon, Deb.
You take the legal documents out of the envelope. A 12 to 40 month construction period and the zoning plan in the addendum. There is no loophole. The simple truth is the current residents are going to lose their street access, and for the next 12 to 40 months, their lives will be dominated by constant construction noise right next door. Well, you could trick Everard. Get some random people to sign the document. By the time the union boss finds out, your business here will be already concluded. The youth center cuts into the ocean like the bow of some great modern ship. Apparently, it's going to cover most, if not all, of the street and the square between. It's going to be awfully close to the already existing buildings, almost wall to wall, practically integrating them into the youth center. This is either an ominous or cool architectural choice. Hard to say. My money is on cool. Looks like a cubic pyrite. before the cargo container. Its draw has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly. The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign says, your bottles clunk into the machine, and the money appears with a satisfying G.
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't really know anything.
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here. Oh, so you went and talked to my mommy, and now she's making me play with you.
And what's gonna happen if we don't? You're gonna go and tell on us?
Yeah, I heard him. Now fuck do you think I'm doing here? You'd have your ass handed to you if it wasn't for the boss man's word. Let me state this very clearly, capo. Hello, officer. I'm Titus Hardy.
But having Everard back you up like that did seem to have some effect.
Again, just get the dead guy's autograph. Since you...
Good one, Titus.
About fucking time. Again, just get the dead guy's autograph.
Good one.
About fucking time.
I've got nothing to say to you. Why are you wasting your time? I am not.
You could be Liz. You could be anything. You could even be a model.
Even a mod? Glenn, I went to law school. I am an attorney.
He's right. With a face like that, she could be on the cover of Le Debutante International.
So fucking what? Lots of models are actually really smart people, fuckwad.
No, Glenn, they aren't.
This didn't change her opinion of you. It's not her. She's not a hardy girl. Definitely.
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here.
Starting from sitting across a symmetric and then the emblem in the far corner on his neck. Forget, let's call this one size 4 in the middle. In conclusion, exactly.
The fuck is with you, fella? Again, just get the dead guy's autograph.
Good one, Titus.
How many people have you sent to the Shays?
Shays Electric.
Or send them to Reunion to rot. For 20 years. For life.
But you see, a lawman, is something people agree about fucking time.
Establish authority. Yes. Authority.
Stop shitting your pants. You know, the law handled it, all right?
Yeah. Aren't you listening? It's done. Finito.
Now you're in some kind of personal crisis right in front of us. Take this esoteric shit out of my bar.
Everything's still cool here, officer. Drugs? I don't go in for that, officer. Drugs ruin lives. Unless you're into drugs, of course. In which case, drugs are excellent. Mwah! Tasty, tasty drugs. That's so cool! You investigating the local drug trade like some cool narc? But I am not a lorry driver. I am just a street vendor. I don't know anything about that.
A blatant lie, sire. Yet he tells it with such conviction. We'd believe him if we didn't know better.
Who said that? It's the fat racist, right? I bet it's him. He has an agenda against me because I'm an immigrant who works harder than he does. No, I just said I work harder and he's an asshole. I'm...
Realizing he can't get out of it. Smart man.
Okay, maybe I'm a lorry driver too. A little. But that's not the most important thing about me. That's my day job. This is my dream. Nothing. I told you. I'm not a dumb guy. I don't get involved with that crowd. Crowd, you know, the drug crowd.
No, he wasn't talking about an abstract crowd. It was that crowd.
Okay, look. There's bad people here doing bad things. That's all I know. Please don't get me into this mess. I've been in Revachol for 15 years.
Here we go. There's a tiny bit of truth on the table. Zoom in on it.
It's a she, okay? The other drivers call her the lady driver. You're better off staying away from her. The way they talk about her, she's no lady.
Interesting. Could this driver be connected to the Hardy Boys?
I don't know. Maybe. If she is, I haven't gone near her. I don't get involved.
It could be. She was strange. He's not ruling her out.
I don't know. I'm not local. I don't know anything about that. All of them. I don't know. I told you all I know. Are we cool now?
He's aching to get back to his usual shtick. All this whispering is bad for business.
All right. Very cool. Let's cap this off with a purchase.
The woman is still hunched over the railing.
Huh? What is it? What do you want? Did you just call me a lady, Herife?
She clearly doesn't think she's a lady. Don't repeat it.
I'm not that either, Herife. I've gone too far from it all to remember what was between my legs. It doesn't work like that on the long haul. I'm only terrifying to small children and to those who used to know me.
Yeah, it's not her. Believe me.
Because they can no longer recognize the person I once was. The big ones, the trucks. There's no women and men there, it's all just... In the middle of this town, there's a ghostly motorway. It takes all the people where they want to...
You feel very cold suddenly, as if standing face to face with a terrifying adversary. In the background, a quiet song seeps from her cabin into the air. You don't hear any vocals.
How should I know? Do I look like I spend a lot of time with the other communers sniffing around, when I have my movies to go to? Oh, Sim.
Com es creuaria?
Still here, stuck in this damn jam, my man. What's up? I don't want to talk about that. Man, I was hoping it isn't gonna be her. All I can say is, she isn't around here anymore. She isn't some evil drug trafficker. And I don't know where she is. Thank God I don't know. People here call her the Lady Driver. She kept her name a secret. From me too. Now I see why. I did it, man. I told you I was hoping it's not her. That she wouldn't be mixed up in it.
He still is. Hoping. It's just wishful thinking on his part. No, it's true. We would of course lie. But a kind heart is tricky. Bah. Emotional rhetoric. He knew something and he didn't share it with you. That's a fact.
A friend? An acquaintance? I don't know. She was the only person in this damn jam I could talk to. She's someone I don't want to rat out to the law, okay? A youngish woman. Gruff, but in a cool way. Blue and violet. Died. It was violet when she got here. Blue before she went.
Then she may have dyed it again.
Damn, I don't want to... Please just let it go. Whatever she did, it can't be that bad. She's not a bad person, I know that much. That's how it always is with you, isn't it? All part of the investigation. The girl's troubled. If you hunt her down, she may not survive it. I can't have... She's got the darkness in her. That young person's darkness when you think it's all over. And you're looking for a way out. Yes, which is why I don't want to snitch on her. I heard the rumors. I saw the other drivers looking at me strange when we talked. And she told me, too, that she's had a violent life. But I wasn't afraid of her. More like for her. Well, it looks like it did now. But we didn't talk about that. We talked about life, you know? She talked about her mind. Fuck, man. Go grill someone else with these questions, okay? There are plenty of drivers here who couldn't stand her, or were afraid of her.
He's right. There are other options. The raceman, for one. Wait, this guy says they're friends. Then, acquaintances. And he's okay with others ratting her. Push Tommy and it will break his heart. And his spirit. Now is not the time to focus on feelings. You need that info, son.
Fine. I don't want to be a butcher. And I don't want to be a knight either. I just want to be a person who can sleep at night. A little fame wouldn't hurt too. I thought you were a different kind of cop.
The realization that you've used his friendliness and goodwill for your own ends.
Here. Lori's still here. Down past the statue of Philippe. The cabin is green. You can get in there with these. That's all I know. She left them to me because she trusted me. So I can get it out of the way when the jam breaks loose. Otherwise,
the other drivers would have to break in there to get the machines moving. And they would find what's hidden inside. Something incriminating.
Last Friday. Last Friday. No. I don't know. I bet you are.
And he's sorry he couldn't be what he wants to be. A good person.
Nah. I need to think my own thoughts now. Pray forgiveness for my sins. Go check your cabin.
This green found, A to Z, contemporary, is parked in the shadow of the ruins looming overhead. This is the one the man pointed to. His friend's lorry. The glass on the side windows is tinted and covered with dust. You can barely make out the shape of the seat and 2 steering levers. The door is locked. The handle looks shiny, like it's recently replaced. You push the key into the lock and turn. It makes a cracking sound. Then the door pops. The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front and a toolbox tucked under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals. These are movie posters. One of them particularly catches your eye. A centerfold of an ingenue. There's definitely perfume in the air. It's spicy, with a hint of amberette, wafting through the bitter air of the cabin. The remnants of a sweet juniper-scented perfume, probably granate number 5. The actress is draped in a sheathed dress, one of her shoulders bared. The faded remains. Wait, doesn't she? resembles someone you know. But you can't put... This is Tijon, a starlet from the dawn of cinematography, less known for her talent than her tragic She wasted away in a drug den called Door to the River. Not far from here, on Boogie Street, a mixture of cocaine and morphine. She was afraid of the world, the actresses, and the rear actor. Looks like the frequency dial is absent. It requires a key to work, but the key has been removed. The peculiar frequency tableau indicates that at least 128 stations have been saved on this radio. Not without the dial key, no. Unclear. For contacting an entire fleet of lorries, for example. This must be the nerve center of a well-organized operation. The ghostly actresses and the rusty toolbox under the driver's seat. You wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like the few tools lying around here. A hammer, but one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper has been glued. Sandpaper adds extra grip. Matching one of the footprints found from the crime scene, which means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching. Looks like it, yes. You've identified the missing 8th person at the lynching. Do you think that Hardy and his boys had anything to do with the drug trade? You should talk to them, see what they've got to say for themselves. The movie stars are still smiling from the walls. A metallic door slides out from the seat. It's empty, except for a folded newspaper. It's an issue of Périphérique from last Wednesday. A piece of paper falls out from its pages. It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. Complex mathematical equations explain the basics of... These formulas look oddly painful. Maybe it's the hangover, but they give you a headache. The pull-out toolbox slides back into its nest. You close the rusty old lorry door. Your job here is done.
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here. Like hell you have. There is no local drug trade. This place is as clean as a rifle. Go back to Jamrock and ask the local junkies how clean your streets are in Precinct 41. Keith, that's a mighty interesting theory. I guess that's what you would need to do, theoretically. A big, strong, state-run monopoly would outcompete the runs.
Yeah, man. Theoretically, that's what you would do. To get rid of the gangs, the dealers, even some of the junkies.
You would need good, trustworthy people to take their place, of course. Hardy men to run such a monopoly. For the good of the community, of course. Boo fucking who? People will always be taking drugs. Might as well do it clean.
Yeah, that's what the labor movement is all about. Clean and organized.
Theoretically, of course. We're just talking politics here. My answer to your drug accusation is... My answer is... fuck off. Mind your own business. There is no...
Finally, you got something out of him. This could prove useful in the future.
And here we go. Back to the usual.
I know! Fatty walked on all fours. He's so fucking fat he left 2 sets of footprints. Go fuck your mom, Dennett.
That's more like it, boys. You heard him. It was Angus on all fours. Anything else you need to know?
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Yes, my eyes on the harbor have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered? It doesn't really matter, and I do apologize for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this.
One of the tall buildings overlooking the roundabout, most likely. That would give them a read on the entire quarter.
In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation? I assume you discovered there is an operation. Okay. I thank you for sharing that much with me. My employer thanks you as well. In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. Now it's my turn. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands.
The words bloodbath sound cold in her. mouth. They taste of iron and strawberries.
Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivershoal West. I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail. They were dispatched after I relayed the Union's initial offer. A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric, or a joke. They did not appreciate the humor. Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering. Canal, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment. The story is, one of them, the Colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to... He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched. Last Sunday, nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbor. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Canal contractors carry out their orders, for now. It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow. Surely you're joking. These people are killers. My only hope is that yours provides a single, concrete suspect before they indiscriminately pick theirs. If you don't pin this on someone good, and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
The Union has over 2,000 men.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Detective? It's not pretty.
The Serai's giant hornet, the world's 2nd largest insect, can kill 40 honeybees a minute, while a group of 30 can decimate an entire hive of 20,000 bees in less than 4 hours.
These men work in tandem using semi and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all. As I said, a bloodbath. Many bleak scenarios have already come true. Nameless, badgeless detective of the citizens' militia. All we can do is keep the rest from following suit. One single, concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation. Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob, and their impatience. Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative. It's a matter of days, not weeks. Not much. Their public resume is relatively good. As far as private military contractors go, they boast a long list of clients. Saint-Baptiste, Welchman-Lorenz, Eintracht. A warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in 3rd or 4th world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such. Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, if you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though. Ah, yes, your condition. The International Collaborative Police maintains a database for these sorts of things. Perhaps I have, and they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out.
She's being truthful. She is pressing them as hard as she can.
I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, please ask. Of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
For about half a minute, in silence. Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes.
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent. Close. Port cities. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. Over 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels. Quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder. Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, through what I think must be the Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Pretto, Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after
the old world passing by, and the new world already here.
I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning. His platoon members? The other contractors, though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade.
You wouldn't even know where to start.
The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption.
Where is he now?
That is precisely what the sailors feared when they drew these maps. A fear of drowning. Is there anything else I can help you with?